Oh no. I have seen The Sausage Party, which is a R-rated Seth Rogen Kristen Wiig comedy taking place mainly in a supermarket where all of the food is alive and it has personalities and stuff. And apparently Seth Rogen's character plays a sausage who wants to get with Kristen Wiig's character, who is a bun. There are several other crazy characters in it, including a talking douche and a Jewish bagel and an Arabian Arabic a baklava, I guess that's what he's supposed to be. There's a Native American Indian sort of cannabis smoking guy, of course. There always is in his movie, Seth Rogen's movies. They all seem to be alive and blissfully unaware that when they're taken out of the supermarket, they will all be turned into food and eaten. They're blissfully unaware because the Indian chief guy has convinced them that the gods are out there and that they're going to take them to the promised land outside of the supermarket. But it makes you not want to eat food. But a Sausage Party, I guess it's kind of a spoiler-free review, just because it's such an odd movie that I really can't describe what's going on in terms of the plot. I mean, it's just basically the sausage and the bun get separated and they have to come back together, and then this other sausage goes outside and he somehow comes back. Bath salts are involved. There's a character who has bath salts, of course he sees them vicariously through his tripping out, which implies that somehow tripping out on drugs makes you enlightened and you get to see food that's alive. Yeah. No, that's probably not what happens. The movie has a whole lot of dick and sex jokes in it. Which is to say, I was going to go to an earlier showing of the movie here on Friday, but I had missed the first 10 minutes, and I was in the line. That was a long line. And there was two women, one mother and possibly daughter or sister. I'm saying sister. And a 5 or 6-year-old. The 5 or 6-year-old's flipping out in the line because he wants to see the sausage movie. He doesn't know what it is. There's a poster. Looks like a kid's movie. It's not. The ticket taker person tells him, you can't take a kid to see this movie. It's rated R and it's gross. And they're like, oh, and then they got pissy with her. And then another one. So they went through a slew of other movies. They never picked the Ice Age movie, which would have been fine. That was still playing, or Star Trek probably wouldn't have been. But they picked Suicide Squad, and that's not a good choice either, but they went anyway. Later on in the mall, I could have sworn there was a screaming kid in there. There was that kid that was upset that he'd seen about half of Suicide Squad. They got mad that didn't like it. It's like, don't take your little kid that's 5 to see a movie that's even PG-13 if it's that intense. But this movie is R-rated. You know, they always complain about, like, the news media, mainly the Fox people, the news media, and CNN to an extent, complains about, like, violence video games, but never violent television. And yet, parents need to know the responsibility. You do not take your toddler to see a rated R film. You just do not do that. And then you're not going to turn around and blame everyone else for taking your toddler to see this movie. It's your fault for being stupid. Now, back on to Sausage Party. Fortunately, this next showing was did not have any children in it. I certainly didn't want to go to that one. or that other version of Suicide Squad. But I went and saw this, and it was the Sausage Party. It was quite dirty, quite filthy. The innuendos and the jokes and stuff are quite raunchy. I don't think that I would own it as a DVD. It's sort of a one-hit thing. Yeah, I've seen it in theaters already. I've seen it. It's basically what Food Fight, the movie, should have been. Pretty much. It's what Food Fight should have been. It's a spoof of Food Fight, which was a long-suffering movie, VeggieTales, and a little bit of Robot Chicken. Yeah, it's got a lot of Robot Chicken. It's pretty messed up. So there's a lot. The overall story is about the supermarket, how it's messed up on the seamy side, and they want to keep everything. The people who are running the supermarket, the food that's running the supermarket, wants to keep it so everybody thinks that the gods are going to take them to the promised land. And yes, I know it's called something else in the movie, but I'm not going to bother looking it up. They want to take them to the beyond. I think it's called the beyond. Beyond's a word that's being used in a bunch of movies. The beyond. The great beyond. And, yeah, so apparently the great beyond is actually bad. And they're going to be killed and eaten. As which some of them find out when they end up being killed and eaten. Main characters, of course, no. One of them manages to escape and gets back to the supermarket. Spoilers, to warn them. There's a horny bisexual taco lady. There's weird sort of suggestion of like buns and hot dogs when they come together they're having sex. There's when you spill someone's sauce or someone's juice out of them, they die. There's a blowjob scene involving a douche sucking a juice box that has a hole in it. Yeah. That's the kind of stuff that happens in this movie. It's pornographic. But because it's a cartoon juice box and thing, it's like it's just gross. That's just, ugh. But yeah, there were funny scenes in it other than that. And like many Seth Rogen comedies, he doesn't seem to know when, and Edward Norton's in it too. He doesn't seem to know when to dial back the like horror violence stuff and to just make it funny. He wants to make a dark middle chapter to the story in most of his movies. Even Neighbors and Neighbors 2 have a dark middle chapter. Even Pineapple Express, most of the ending is dark. The Interview, most of it's dark. The whole thing. There is political commentary in it, in the movie. There is an Arabic character and a Jewish character that basically are sort of stereotypes of that. And they learn to get along because they should, which is funny. That's not how it works. It's very simplistic. They are essentially related to tribes that go back hundreds of thousands of years, and technically they're related genetically, but yeah. but it'd be more of a Palestinian Arabic thing and Jews than the other one. There is a character who sounded like Silly Kelly in it. There's I'm not saying it wasn't, but I'm not saying it was. There was a Nazi who was a Nazi character, was running around in it doing the spiel because he could. There were other various. There was a Mexican bar scene with characters like the Mexican food aisle was done up like that. There was sort of a gangsta black guy that was a box. There was an odd appearance by an internet singing character that showed up, and he was like a box, and they were singing about that. So apparently they watched that whole like Geico box ad thing, and they thought, wouldn't it be funny if it was a food box? And they probably watched some other stuff as well to do that. But yeah, the jokes were a little odd. I think what worked the best though was when they were subtle and not hitting you over the head with it. So yeah, that worked. Yeah. So the yeah, well, I'll throw a few spoilers in there. I mean, there's a character who is essentially a spoof of Bob the Tomato and Larry the Cucumber from VeggieTales. They're pretty much, but in reverse. So they're like the robot chicken ones. The cucumber guy is clearly Seth Rogen, and sometimes the cucumber guy is Seth Rogen is a hot dog in this one. Is a little hot dog as well. So it's like they keep sort of trading that idea back and forth. It's not a Burns and Allen thing though, not really. I'd say it's more goes back to the classic comedy, body comedy routines of, say, whoever was like a male and female comedy team, kind of going on each other. It's not, yeah, it's George and Gracie, but Burns and Gracie, but dirty. A little bit of a lot of SNL. They're SNL people all over the thing. The Edward Norton character is basically playing Woody Allen. And the fruits are fruity. It's like, so it's really extremely juvenile. Oh, but yeah, it's a funny movie. It's not for everyone. It's not going to appeal to anybody that's like prudish in any way. Don't go see it. Anybody with little kids, don't take your kids to see it. It's not appropriate. So the right off the bat, it totally is not. Most of it will go over their heads, but some of it might freak them out. The Take It Taker guy said something to the effect of, "Are you going to see a dick joke movie?" Like he thought to mention that to me, like I wouldn't know. It's a dick joke movie. Like, of course it is. It's a penis. It's like, I know what that is. I'm like 30 years older than that guy. Or more. Know what that is. Well, maybe not 30 years older. Maybe, yeah, he looked about 16. But he probably was 20. But yeah, just 40 years, 25 years. Anyway, so it's like, yeah, I know it's a dick joke. But yeah, now having seen it and trying to analyze it now in this review, there are some things that just didn't work, but for the most part it was funny. The critics are fawning all over this movie, and honestly, why? I mean, it's fun, it's weird, it's bawdy, but if it was done in like any venue other than prudish America, it probably wouldn't be even, Yeah, I would actually not give it an 80% something on Rotten Tomatoes, 90%. I would say 75. It's not going to be 4 stars at all. It's maybe 3.5, somewhere around there. It's not. They're making fun of, undaunted religion, childlike faith among the characters. I don't mind them making fun of religion and having like a speech in there, but it got a little preachy because clearly Seth Rogen was trying to say, how atheist he is or something. He doesn't believe in that stuff. But it's like, it just, yeah, at times it just became too dark, and it didn't need to be. It's about like fruit that wants to have sex with itself and do weird stuff and be like a sodomist land or something. And it does deliver that. It actually delivers a good spoiler. It does show fruit characters and sausages and hot dogs apparently having simulated sexual intercourse. So if you're very prudish, you'd probably be squeamish at that point. I thought the most squeamish scene was probably a douche sucking a guy off who was bleeding out of his ruined crotch. That's really nasty. That's fucked up. It's like, that just... Can't even believe that's even a sentence, but it is. It's in the movie. Okay, he's a juice box, and the other guy's a douche, literally with a mouth. But there are lots of jokes about going up douches and stuff, and the douche ends up later, spoiler, up someone's ass. I won't say who, of course, because yeah. But it's not Oscar worthy in any way. It's a dirty comedy. I wouldn't even think you'd want to put it on in the background sometime at like a party or something. You like do a 4th of July theme party. Clearly, it was meant to be released on the 4th of July because they keep referencing the 4th of July in it. But yeah, Sausage Party. It is twisted. It's mainly the comedians working off of each other. That's funny. It's the line-orama. In this case, it works. The Irish potato guy getting skinned alive. Yeah, stuff, weird shit like that. And and it was weird going in because like we had the previews. Let's see, we had Resident Evil, the final chapter. I was one of them. Like, I'll believe that when I see it. I've seen all of them, and it's never the final chapter. So if this is actually the last one, and she actually goes back to Raccoon City and defeats them, if that actually happens for real, well, we'll see. They should end it, though, because Mila Jovovich, she's getting a little long in the tooth, just a little bit. She's not going to be able to do it anymore after a while. It's like... but yeah, it's been like 5 years since the last one, so what are they going to keep cloning her or something? So there was another preview. There was a lot of action movies. There was the Transporter Resurrection, was it? Yawn. Something like that. One of those Ethan Statham movies. There's this icy credits scene. Something like that. I don't know if it was called a Transporter. It was something else. But it was Jason Statham. And he's back. Ooh. There was, what was there? Oh yeah, there's a scary sort of clone AI Splice looking movie that's not a sequel to Splice. It's called, it's by Ridley Scott that produced it. I don't know who directed it, but he produced it. It's called Morgan. Not Megan, Morgan. After the Starcrackers character. It's called Morgan. They were probably thinking, but they called it something else. And then there's, what else was a little late? I missed some of the other ones. There was some other spy movie. Oh yeah, and there was a really embarrassingly bad, like, that starts off as a spy movie, but it's Kevin Hart. And then he does concert stuff, like, right afterward. Like, it's a concert, it's not spies, but he's just pretending to be. And it's like, what is this? Why? And the jokes that he cracked, like, that were for the preview, were kind of dumb. It's like, if those are the best jokes in your preview, it's going to be sad. The ending thing was like, oh yeah, and then they had Bad Santa 2. Why 15 years later would they even do that? The midget guy's in it. And Billy Bob is in it again, and Billy Bob Thornton. He was once married to Angelina Jolie. And back when they were both crazy. She still is a little bit. But she married to Brad Pitt. And there's a scene near the end where I think it's Kathy Bates is playing his mom or something. And he smacks her, or he hits her, and she goes, "You hit just like your daddy." And then they cut to the credits. It's like, what the... Huh? Everybody in the audience is like, what? I don't understand that. So he's a redneck, hits his mother. Okay. What? It looked very unfunny. Very, very unfunny. Like, the kid, he's Santa Claus, and punches out another Santa Claus, and the kid starts rambling about Grand Theft Auto and stuff that he wants, and the guy's like, I don't know what you're talking about. It's like, okay, this looks like the first one, only more mean and kind of ornery. Yeah, go on. Oh yeah, they had at least dark movies before the Sausage Party movie, because I guess it's like dark and twisted that food comes to life and then they're later consumed by people. But like, they would never figure that out. One thing they probably could do in the sequel, if they figure out to do a sequel, is zombies, because inevitably they'll spoil after being taken out of the packages, and they'll be walking around the store all be zombies on the street. Yeah, maggot infested one they found on the street. Yeah, the movie's kind of messed up. And the more and more I think about it, yeah, it's still three. It's better. So go and see it if you like body, dirty humor, and stuff like that. Go and see it. If you like that. I don't think Jim Tican should see it.